It's not that they think more, it's that their mind never gives them a place to rest, even when they desperately wanted to. Even in moments that are supposed to feel quiet, their thoughts keep moving, stretching, expanding, like a room that keeps growing walls no one can see. And if you've ever felt your own mind refusing to slow down, then you already understand a fraction of what it feels like to live like this. Because high intelligence doesn't feel like clarity. It feels like constant motion that never settles into silence. From the outside, they often look composed, thoughtful, maybe even impressive, the kind of person others assume has everything under control, but inside it's different. Inside there's a quiet overload, where every situation breaks into layers, every word holds multiple meanings, every interaction gets replayed long after it ends, not because they want to overthink, but because their mind doesn't know how not to. It keeps searching for patterns, for explanations, for something beneath the surface, even when there's nothing there. A simple conversation doesn't stay simple, it becomes a puzzle. A silence becomes a question. A small change in tone becomes something to analyze. And over time, this constant processing turns ordinary moments into something heavy, something that needs to be understood instead of simply felt. And that's where the exhaustion begins, not from life itself, but from the way their mind refuses to let life just be. And the hardest part is, they don't always feel present in their own life, like they're standing slightly outside of every moment, observing it instead of living inside it, thinking about what they're feeling instead of actually feeling it, trying to make sense of emotions instead of allowing them to exist. And slowly, without even realizing it, they start losing the simplicity that once made things feel real. Many of them grew up being told they were different, praised for being smart, for understanding things quickly, for seeing what others couldn't. And at first, that feels like a gift, but over time, it quietly becomes a distance. Because when you see too much, you start to feel like you don't fully belong, like conversations don't reach you the same way, like you're always a few steps ahead or a few layers deeper than everyone else around you. It's not that others lack depth, it's that their mind keeps going further, asking questions no one else is asking, noticing things no one else is noticing. And that creates a kind of loneliness that's hard to explain because it's not about being alone. It's about feeling unseen in a way that words don't quite capture. So they begin to pull back, not in a dramatic way, but quietly, choosing silence over shallow conversations, choosing distance over misunderstanding, and people start to see them as distant, cold, or overly analytical, without realizing that what's really happening is much softer than that. It's a form of emotional overload, where thinking becomes a way to stay in control. Because logic feels safe, it has structure, it has answers, it makes sense, but emotions don't follow rules, they don't offer clear explanations. And for someone whose mind is built on patterns, unpredictability feels uncomfortable, even threatening. So they retreat deeper into thought, not because they don't feel, but because they feel too much without knowing where to place it. And beneath all of this, there's often a quiet restlessness, like something is always missing, like there's always one more thing to understand, one more layer to uncover, one more question waiting behind the answer. And no matter how much they learn or achieve, that feeling doesn't fully go away, because their mind was never built to settle. It was built to keep searching. This is why happiness can feel distant in a very subtle way. Not because their life lacks good moments, but because their mind rarely lets them stay in those moments long enough to feel them completely, always pulling them forward, always asking what comes next, always analyzing what just happened instead of letting it simply exist. But what most people don't see is that this isn't a flaw, it's a protection that just grew too strong. Because at some point, thinking deeply helped them feel safe, helped them understand things that didn't make sense, helped them navigate a world that felt uncertain. Their mind became the place they could rely on when nothing else felt stable. Their intelligence became their shield. But a shield, when carried all the time, slowly turns into a wall. And healing doesn't mean losing that intelligence. It doesn't mean becoming less aware or pretending not to see what they see. It simply means learning that not everything needs to be solved. Not every silence hides meaning. Not every feeling needs to be explained to be valid. Sometimes, the mind doesn't need more answers. It needs permission to rest, to pause without guilt, to exist without searching for something more. Sometimes the deepest form of intelligence is knowing when to stop chasing understanding and start allowing experience. And maybe the peace they've been looking for isn't hidden in another thought or another realization, but in the quiet moment where they finally let themselves be, without analysis, without pressure, without the need to figure everything out, just being there, fully present for the first time in a long time.